Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here, and today I have a playthrough for Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. This one is a worker placement style game for 1 to 4 players in which we are playing scientists. These scientists are going to be placed around the board, worker placement style. We are going to gather foodstuffs and also dinosaurs themselves. We're going to have them on our mat and breed them. As we breed them, we're going to be able to fulfill contracts from theme parks and other places that would be interested in such creatures and score points. We are going to play over 6 rounds, and we are going to try to defeat the rival rancher over there. This rancher is very, very difficult. I will get into all that as we get into the playthrough. But before I do that, let me tell you about the One Stop Co-op Shop. We are a gaming empire. I say it every time, and I mean it. We have our YouTube channel, which is where you are now. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel, as well as to our sister, the YouTube Stream channel. We also have our podcast where we cover special topics on the weekdays, and also on the weekends we have dedicated coverage to your favorite solo and cooperative games. We also have our Discord, which is a lively community which is entirely free to join. Check the show notes here in this very video to join our Discord. We have a Patreon so that you can help us get more games to the table, improve our tech, get us to conventions so that we can bring more solo and cooperative gaming to you. But if you don't want to join our Patreon, then please feel free to join the Discord and the conversation. We really appreciate it. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. All right, so before I get to the playthrough proper, I'm going to give a sense of the overall game flow. There are 7 phases to the round. I'll go over the basics of each phase so that you have a little bit of a sense for what you're going to see when I go through each of the 6 rounds. Okay, so the first phase is all about resource gathering. You're going to get some dinos. You got to feed them something or else they're going to run away and be unhappy. All right, so the gathering phase is you look at your personal area over here, and this is where you will keep track of your ranchers and your resources and such. All of the icons that are visible, you get credit for them. So you get 1 supply, 3 meat, and 5 leaf. And that is the beginning of every single game. In future rounds, there are going to be dinosaurs on here, so there will be less resources to gather. So that's one of the things you have to manage. So this is what you're here for. Phase 2, the worker placement. So there are 4 cards, and they have spots on all the cards. So players are going to be taking turns putting their ranchers on different spots. So this area is generally capturing dinosaurs. You will roll a die because capturing dinosaurs is dangerous work. Sometimes you can get hurt doing so. So, but you'll be able to pretty much to always successfully capture a dinosaur. You put them on your rancher mat, and then eventually you'll be able to put them on your map over here. So I'll explain how that works in just a second. But that is how you gather dinosaurs. This area over here governs the enclosures. So you have to put your dinosaurs in such a way that they are fenced in. They can't just run around. So this is where you gather stuff for the enclosures. Over here you get research, where you can gather these purple dinosaurs and other powers. So a little bit more costly, but more powerful effects. This is where you're going to do a lot of your scoring. These 2 spots are both give you the ability to fulfill a contract. So if you have dinosaurs on your map, not on your staging area, on your map, you can fulfill a contract by going over here. Let's say I had three dinos just wandering around. I can fulfill that, get 10 points, and move on. So every player is going to have this private goal, and only when you fulfill a public contract, it's like sneaking it in. Oh, by the way, I have this private contract as well. There's no way to fulfill a private contract otherwise, so be on the lookout to be able to fulfill that. The last spot over here is just raw resources to keep you going just in case you're not able to generate enough off of the map. Phase 3, you retrieve the ranchers. If the rancher had gotten hurt gathering a dinosaur, they would be here. So then you would take all your workers back and place them back on your rancher area. Phase 4 is you arrange the ranch. So this is where you take all of your dinosaurs in your holding area that you got during the worker placement phase and find places for them. Hopefully, you have used the actions to get some of these enclosures in order to properly entrap your dinosaurs. Every mat is going to come with this little one section pen. So that dinosaur is not going anywhere. That's pretty cool. But you have to arrange and do smart things with your enclosures so that the dinosaurs are not able to escape. So what I've done here is I've taken advantage of the natural terrain to put two enclosures there. And I can only put one type of dinosaur in an enclosure. I could not, repeat, could not do that. They're going to fight, which is not something that you want. Dinosaurs that are free will escape and do bad things to your mat. I'll get into that during the playthrough. This dinosaur is purple. They're the ones that come out of the research. They're pacified. For whatever reason, the research process made them very, very friendly. So they're just going to hang out and help you out. So every turn, you're going to have different dinosaurs, different arrangements. So you have to revisit your map and adjust accordingly. The next phase involves feeding. So you would look at what type of dinosaur you had and what they needed. So these Stegosauruses are herbivores. The Velociraptor over here is a carnivore, and this Allosaurus is a big time carnivore. So if you have one of these, then you have to make sure you have the two meat to feed it. If you have two Stegosauruses, they're going to eat two leaves. If you cannot feed them, they escape just as if they were not enclosed, so doing bad things to your mat. The next phase, phase 6, is breeding dinosaurs. You fed them, they're nice and fat, now they're ready to get it on. And lay some eggs, and eventually they will give you a new dinosaur. You only check for escape during a previous phase, so this dinosaur would not escape, but you have a third dinosaur to enclose, feed, and eventually give out in contracts. During the 7th and final phase, you would refill this row. Let's say I had fulfilled one contract or somebody at the table had done that. You do not replace the contracts until this last phase. So then I would take another card and put that there. I would also discard all these and get new ones because we want to get a good flow going with these research dinosaurs. So that is the flow. Get dinosaurs, enclose them, feed them, and get them ready to sell for contracts. Whoever can do that the most efficiently will win Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. All right, so let us check out your solo opponent, the Rival Rancher. So it is only going to operate during the second phase. You don't have to worry about it for any other phase. So when it is its turn, it is going to turn over one of its 4 cards. It does not use any of the meeples. It uses these cards. So then you turn it over and do what it says, and they mostly function the same. So it'll tell you where to put this card. In this particular case, it's C. So then it would cover or count as covering all these spots. Pretty powerful. And depending on the state of the board, you do what it says. So if it is empty of any other characters, whether itself or your ranchers, then it would get a dinosaur. If I was there on some capacity, then it would perform an action. What does that mean? Here is the solo board, and this is the scientist opponent that I am playing. So if it had acquired a dinosaur, it would acquire the dinosaur in the relevant spot right there, and then it would end its turn. If it performed an action, you would look at whatever the spot was and perform that action. So in the first turn of the game, it would get these 3 meat, which you would indicate on the board. If it was a little bit more progressed in the game, then you would look at the actions above and you would get 3 supplies instead. The bot is going to work on getting supplies. When they max out at 13, you trigger some kind of action and then it would reset to 0, usually more stuff. So in the regular solo game, as soon as the bot finished its turn, you would check the row and see if it could complete any of its contracts. So let's say I had this scenario at the end of its turn, then I would look, I would see, hey, they can fulfill that contract. They would discard all these dinosaurs, collect that as scoring, and then pass turn. So that would be the entirety of the bot's turn. On future turns, I could go to these spaces, but it would be a little bit more costly. So let's say I wanted to go to this space. I could not go with just one character. I would need to put 2 characters there in order to get the effect to overcome the presence of the rival, or I would use this grande worker. The grande worker always counts as 2, but it would only perform the action once, but in terms of occupying the space, it would count as 2. That is a rule for the multiplayer game as well as the solo. Want to give people a heads up before I start the playthrough. I am going to use two variants on the solo bot that I found on BG. Out of the box, rules as written. This is one of the most frustrating solo bots that I have ever played. Definitely the most frustrating in a Tiny Epic game. It is so strong. It gets so many extra actions, extra resources, points. It has crushed me by more than doubling my score, which is completely outside the pale for other Tiny Epic games. Usually they're a lot closer. So it's beatable, but you have to get super lucky, and you have to style your whole game around responding to the bot, which I don't find fun at all. So I am going to give a flag for people. If you want the pure rules as written experience, you're going to have to find that elsewhere. Hopefully, you can tell the changes that I've made and figure out if these changes are good for your game or if you'd rather try the rules as written. So the two rules changes are as follows. First of all, in the printed rules, the bot has the first player token. We're taking that. The bot can get it back, but at least I have a little bit of a lead where I have a little bit more openness in terms of my spaces. Second thing is the contracts. So normally it would be a bonus action. So like the bot would always get the effects of these cards, and then if it could fulfill these contracts, then it would get that as an extra action. We're not doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine there's a line right here that says check for contracts. Place the worker and then check for contracts. If they can fulfill a contract before any of this stuff, they'll fulfill it and that'll be its turn. It will not get the contract fulfillment as an extra action. So just to cut down on how much the bot does on its turn. All right, phase one, always gather resources first. That is what is available to me on the player mat. All right, first things first, let's go here and grab a barrier, which will be placed at a later phase. The bot is going to go. They're going to go to A, and they get 2 raptors. This is this is why whenever I do any solo game that has any chance of success, I always grab the first player token, which is such a boring move because it's all you do. But it is so necessary because it cuts down drastically on the amount that the bot does that shenanigan. It is going to place 2 Allosauruses right there. Next move for me, let's spread out. Make sure the bot doesn't get those devastating dinosaur collecting actions. I'm going to spend 1 leaf and 1 meat on a research card. And I like this one a lot because for the low price of 1 leaf, I'm going to plant it somewhere and it is going to collect 2 of a resource. So it kind of pays for itself and helps me feed the rest of my dinos. I like it. All right, let's see what the bot does next. It is going to go to C. C, another one of those cheatery 2 dino moves, but instead it is just going to perform the action right here, which is to collect 1 of every resource, which is miles and miles a weaker action than getting all those dinos. All right, more foiling of the bot. Let's go here and collect 2 supply, the hardest item to get, so I like nailing that whenever it's open. Next, the bot goes for C again, and is going to perform the blue dino action, or actually, yes, it's going to perform the action. Sorry about that, and get 3 meat. All right, last action, we're going to go over here and get ourselves a stego. The grande worker, because there's 1 worker there, so 2 workers has to beat 1 in this game. Stego, because there's some contracts which have the stegos and they're pretty cheap to maintain. So let's do that. See if I get another stego. I do not get another stego. I get injured, but that is not a big deal because they're just about to come back. All right, so all zones are covered, so they are going to use the bottom action no matter what. That is going to be A again, another stego action, or its first stego action, which is 3 leaves. All right, so everybody comes back. So I get to place. So this is the Paracephalopa something, purple. I'm going to put it out here. So it will continue to give me some resources. Let's go ahead and set up the stego in an enclosure. So the stego is fine there because it can't escape. Go ahead and enjoy your oceanside view, stego. And now that I have assigned them, now I have to feed them. So this one eats a leaf. This one also eats another leaf. There's no breeding. Lonely stego is not going to do too much of anything. So then wrap up. Go ahead and discard these. These stay. I would refill, but for the most part they stay. We get 3 more dinos. Dino food additives. You may discard this card to feed all your dinosaurs this turn. It's cool. A Gallimimus. Choose one dinosaur in a space orthogonally adjacent that they don't have to be fed. Nice to if you're running low on one resource. And the breeding center. If you only have a single regular dino of one species, I can pay 1 supply to add a newborn. Ooh, that one is really, really nice. Might go for that one next turn. All right, beginning of round 2, I get stuff. Get 1 supply. I get 1, 2. This dinosaur produces 2 of whatever it is on. So 2 meat and 5 leaf. So shouldn't have too many resource problems this round. So first things first, going to pay a supply to get 2 barriers. Not going to mess around with that. That's probably the most important thing I need to do right now. The bot goes. Bot is going to go to A. I shuffled that. So in this particular case, that means that this third Allosaurus is placed and it gets the special action. So it's going to be drawing a lot of cards and getting points that way. The bot is already starting to cheat. So it doesn't even look. It just takes the highest point card, which in this case is a dino. That's fine. Note that if it ever has the requisite dinos for this one, it will discard this card to satisfy the condition of that contract. So it does count as having a purple dinosaur, even if it doesn't get another benefit from it. And these cards do go into the player area. So this one, super food research. I can feed all sorts of dinos with this one. Maximum habitat. At the end of the game, gain 1 star for every 2 dinos in my ranch. We'll see about that. All right, my next action is over here. I can occupy this space so it wouldn't get the better action. And I'm going to spend 1 leaf and 1 meat on this breeding center. So the breeding center really helps out if I am struggling with maintaining my dinosaurs. I can pay 1 to get an extra breeding, even if I don't have a second dinosaur. Great. Next card is A. Again, it does not want me to have dinosaurs. But it is occupied, so it's going to perform the stego action, which is 3 plants. Super inconvenient for me. It's going to make me adjust my strategy. Just going to go here and get some more supplies. Because some of the spaces cost supplies, that really gives me a buffer and more flexibility on the board. As you see, very necessary to be flexible on the board. All right, so it is D. So in this particular case, it doesn't matter because if it had gotten a dinosaur, it would have done the action. It's going to do the action. So yet again, go ahead and get some points for your bad self. Usually it's going to be 3 points, so it's basically just an engine of 3 points right here. There are no contracts that require Allosauruses, so it's just going to continue to get 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Whenever it pulls that, So I'm just going to use my last action to complete the barrier stuff. At least I won't have to worry about that later in the game. And the last card is a B, occupied, so it's going to do this action, which is 1 of each resource. All right, so I have no new dinos to place, and I cannot move this unless I take that action during the round. So that's stuck there, but we are going to put these enclosures here. We're going to make a bunch, so there we go. So then no animals to move around. I'm happy with where they are. They eat, so they are going to eat 2 leaves. And I do get to breed because of breeding center. We're going to spend 1 supply to create 1 Stegosaurus. Yes! Oh, baby. We're going to go ahead and discard these cards and see what else we get. Pull out 3. University sponsor. If you have the first player token, gain 2 resources of your any choice. Okay, I plan on keeping that first player token. Moss chops. All 4 sides of moss chops count as barriers. That very good early, not so good now. Adreno injectors. After you have placed all your ranchers, you may pay 1 to move one of your ranchers from its current space to a different empty action space. Sounds really good. It's excellent in multiplayer. It's terrible in solo because you see, because of the way the solo bot plays out, the spaces get occupied so easily that it's like there's nowhere to go. So, useless card, but whatever. It's there. On to round 3. All right. So it is time to get some resources. 1 over here, 4 revealed leaves, and 4 meat because of my workhorse Parasulfur purple. Double what it is on. All right, so as much as I am really mad and I really want to guarantee my chance at a dinosaur, this card is too good to pass up. The bot won't get the first player token very easily because of the way the game is playing out. And I plan to keep the first player token because it's so good. So I am definitely going to get that. All right, let's see what the bot does. The bot goes to D and gets 2 Brachiosaurs. Time to get my dino. The dino that I'm going to get is a green dinosaur to fulfill this contract eventually. I'm going here because I want to be guarantee that I stay there, because you see how powerful it is to be able to cut the bot off from that top action. So I want to guarantee, and I have plenty of supplies. So I'm going to get myself a Velociraptor. Look at how cute. Next bot action is a B. I am occupying it, so it's going to perform the Stego action, which is 3 leaf. Now I could go to C and block it, make sure that the bot is frozen out of their better action, but I'm going to make up for some lost time with the dinos and try to wrangle me one. Ah, man, I've rolled this every time. Oh, well. The bot will go to C and get a Brachiosaurus, and once again will hammer me on cards that it gets. When it gets a green card, it will turn in for a contract, so that'll clear that up a little bit, but that might take a little while. All right, Breeding Frenzy, baby. Let's go ahead and get one of those. I actually might not want the egg this time. That's fine. I get nothing. The bot goes, it is going to go to C and perform that action. So that action will get it oh so much closer to some of the things that it wants. So now I have to feed these things. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaf. They're going to eat, and then 1, 2 meat. And let's do some breeding. So they're going to breed here. Very important to note that they cannot breed into spaces where there's other dinos. They don't get along. So, and also I get to spend this one to breed this one as well. And actually I'm going to breed them out here. That's fine. They're not going to escape. It's just a little baby. Not going to last out there anyway. So, wow. I am very, very full of dinos this turn. Let's get rid of these and get some more contracts. So we have the herbivore Ermolog at the end of the game. Get some points if you have the most herbivores. The Spinosaurus. In your turn, in addition to placing a rancher, I can clear a single action space of all ranchers. That's really nice. Get out of here. Stupid bot ranch that's taking up 17 spaces. Rancher biometrics. After you've placed all your ranchers, if one is in medical leave, they can come back. Same thing as that other one. It sounds great. Great in multiplayer, not so great in solo. Ooh, that Spinosaurus looks real good. I have not been moving this. That was the end of the 3rd round. So for round 4, I do get an extra worker. The bot is going to play an extra rival. All right, new round, round 4. I cheated a little bit. I put the baby out here. The baby has to be in an enclosure. So I did have space for it, so that's fine. Unfortunately, that means I only get 3 meat. No supplies. All the leaves are filled. 1 meat here and 2 meat from this dinosaur who has been a workhorse or a work dinosaur. But because I have the university sponsor, I also am able to get some resources, which are going to be 2 leaves. And oh, you know it, now that I have the action advantage and that space is clear, that is absolutely happening. So in order to do what I want to do, have to take this. Have to say goodbye to my workhorse dinosaur. No, goodbye, goodbye. Let's go ahead and take 1 Stego and 1 green, the Velociraptor, and I have fulfilled this contract. The reason I chose this contract is because with what I have left, it's the only contract that I can take that will allow me to fulfill this private contract. You can only fulfill private contracts on the round, on the very action with which you completed a private contract. So you really have to coordinate that. That's what I was working on the entire time. So we are going to get rid of the last of my stegos. We are going to get rid of these, one of each, the blue and the green, and we have completed the private contract. This is really hard to do, so I'm very happy I was able to do it by round 4. All right, the bot responds by going to B. Yes! Oh, yes! Lucky! Actually, not so lucky, because it did get the action over here, but I will take it over getting just 2 free stegos. So it is going to just hit max, and when it hits max, everything else is wasted. It's going to go set back to 0, and it is going to acquire this reward, which is a free stego and a free velociraptor. All right, for my next action, I'm going to go here. Same reasoning. I want to stay there. I want to guarantee as opposed to get the wound. I'm willing to spend the resource on that, and I will begin to rebuild by getting another green raptor. All right, I will go with the bot. The bot gets a C. So remember what I said. I'm playing with a variant. So normally it would get the 2 raptors and it would fulfill the contract in the same turn, which is just devastating. But because I'm playing the variant where I'm going to place the worker and it uses its action to fulfill the contract, it will discard the 2 dinos necessary to fulfill this contract and go on about its day. So while I am clear here, taking advantage of where the bot is not and getting a stego. Come on, egg. That's not an egg, but at least they hang out. I left D open. Let's see if that matters. It does. It does. I can't believe it. What have I done? I should have. Oh, the absolute worst card that I could have gotten. So it goes to D and it gets its 2 dinos back. That should teach me to play against the bot. You can't just do whatever you want. You have to play against the bot. The smart move would have been to go here. I hope that you at home are following along at my lack of strategy. All right, so I'm going to use my Grande worker because B is there to go here. I have enough resources now and the mat is clear enough. And let's go ahead and replace that 1 purple dinosaur with another, that Spinosaurus that is able to scare away workers. So it specifically says I can clear a single action space, but in solo, they're taking up all the action spaces. I'm going to rule that this scares away the card and opens up all those action spaces. Not clear in the FAQ, but it feels thematic and it doesn't seem overpowered. So come on in, Spinosaurus. Next action for the bot is A. It is going to perform the action from this area. So it's going to get a card. Usually easy 3 points for the bot. Yep, 3 points, not even going to look. Doesn't really count. So at least I get these in the row, but I'm not going to look at them because I'm not going to get them. And so my last action of the turn is wasted because it's 1 worker. I was hoping to be able to go to A again, but he happened to go to A. They covered the entire board, so there's nothing that I can do. I pass turn here in solo. And so it is going to go again. It is going to go into C and do the thing again. Get 3 points again. 4 points this time. Triceratops, you are mighty. All right, there they are. My new dinosaurs arranged in a pen, including my new dinosaur right there. We are going to feed 3 leaves and 3 meat. And we're going to breed 1 velociraptor. And we're going to use the breeder on 1 stegosaurus. Let's go ahead and discard these. I am really going through the deck because of the bot that I have chosen. See what I get this time. Iguanodon. Sure. Open ranch spaces orthogonally adjacent that produce a resource. Produce 2. All right. Let's get rid of that. Mobile barriers. You may rearrange your barriers. Okay. I'll take that. Once per turn, so free rearrange. I don't think I need that, but good to know it's there. And a Dane Ultra or something. Another purple one. Once a round, instead of placing a rancher on an action space, you may place it on this card, then collect resources based on what is showing in your ranch as if it were 1. Interesting. Might take a look at that. Next round. Oh yeah, we need 2 new public goals. Hey, look what this is, just basically giving that over to the bot. This one might be a little bit more realistic. Beginning of round 5 resource gathering. So I gather 1 leaf, 1 supply, and 2 meat. And I also get my university sponsor bonus. So that is going to be 1 leaf and 1 meat. And we are not going to mess around with this. We're going to go ahead and fulfill another contract. So we are going to discard Stegos and a Velociraptor for 9 points. Okay, it is C. And according to my rule, once again, it would not get a blue. It instead fulfills a contract, so it can fulfill this contract. So that's exactly what it will do. Those reds have been sitting there the entire time, so they are finally going to get traded in for the bot's own points. All right, let us diversify and get a raptor. I'm going to take the risk this time, so I don't know if the risk is worth it, but oh, sorry about that, rancher, but it ended up working out for me. I get a red dinosaur. The bot goes at C. It is already at C, so it is going to perform the weakened action over here, so it's going to get 1 of each resource. So I'm going to learn from last time. Let's spread out and go ahead and get 2 supplies. The bot responds with B, so it is going to perform the Stego action, which is 3 leaves. I actually don't mind that because you're so behind in leaves. All right. D is open. I need a lot of meat, so let's go get some meat. The bot responds by going to D and performing the Diplodocus action. I keep on calling it Diplodocus. That's what I call the long things. Something. It has maximum, so it's going to grab, again, the 3-point Plesiosaurus. So more points for the bot. So actually, let me not throw those cards away. That might matter. So we got the laboratory upgrade. Gain any 1 resource of your choice anytime you acquire a resource card. Or Dracorex. On your turn, in addition to placing a rancher, you may clear a single action space of all ranchers, sending them to medical leave. So kind of a similar power to this power that I have over there. So the last option of the turn, I can take my Grande worker there. I don't love any of these options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle and pick 1 of the top 3 to acquire for those 2, paying those 2 resources. See what I get. So I got the food research 1. Feeding dinosaurs is good. Food additives. You may discard this card to feed all your dinosaurs for 3 points. So at the end of the game, that's pretty good. And this Gallimimus. So the Gallimimus actually solves a problem for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take that and get the 2 points. All right, bot's final turn. It is going to go to A and perform that action. Go ahead and give itself 2 of these 2 resources. I have arranged my dinos. Let's go ahead and feed and then breed. So feeding, this actually takes out the 2 leaf requirement for the Diplodocus. Would have struggled to handle that, but this is taking care of this. I like it. It's really cute. So let's go ahead and breed that one and use a supply to breed the red. Just in case. Going to go ahead and discard this row for the final action of the phase. See what I get over here. The injector, no thank you. Ooh, Ankylosaurus. If you have the first player marker, any other player using an action must also pay you 2 meat. Wow! That's pretty neat. And security force. Prevent 1 dinosaur from escaping each round. That has not been a problem, so that's fine. Potential contracts. So we have that one, which I might be able to fulfill. Let's see. And that one. Resource gathering time. I'll get 2 meat and 1 leaf. That's it. Not pass go. Did not collect $200. Let's get the more valuable resource right there. The contract for a red, a green, and a purple. Bye. All right, see what happens. D is going to get a red dino. Get out of here. 2 red dinos, just 1. Now, this was lucky. I happened to get a flop on the last turn that enabled me to complete 2 of the contracts at once. That may be the difference in the game. I set myself up for that luck, so I will take it. But definitely using these to take the second contract was really, really sweet. All right, it is going to go A, and it is going to get a Stegosaurus. So now it can actually complete that last contract, so I don't feel so bad. Luck swings both ways. So I am going to go here, and I'm going to use the power of the Spinosaurus. Roar! Roar! No! To make sure I have a little bit more access to this place with my other workers, and get 2 leaves so I can feed my my blue dinosaur, Brachiosaurus. So you do get points for every dinosaur on your mat, that even if you don't fulfill the contract, so that'll be worth 3. So I want to make sure that they're nice and healthy to give me some points. Next up is B. It is occupied, so it's going to perform the Stego action. I don't think it will be able to fulfill that. It'll surprise me, but maybe it'll max out one more thing. I probably should use a scare tactic on this card, but that's whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna go get this one. Let's go ahead and see if I get a second. I do not. That's terrible. Let's go ahead and finish off the bot. I forgot to fulfill the contract, so let's just do it now. It gets those points, and it gets B. It will perform the action on B, which is not enough to give it anything significant. The bot is done. Let's arrange some dinos on the mat. That's all I got. We're going to feed them. That brings me down to 2. No breeding. Actually, yes, there is breeding. What am I talking about? So let's go ahead and breed a nice, valuable red dinosaur. That is the end of the game. Final score. So you add up your completed contracts, your research, and the individual dinos are worth points. So it was a close one. We're talking 77 to 75. I edged the bot by 2 points. And I thought I was very satisfied by that experience. So, with the adjustments, and there was definitely some luck that played into that in terms of getting the right last public card. So if I hadn't gotten that last public card, I would have lost. So with the other rules, in terms of the solo bot, I would have basically sacrificed 1 turn to get that first player marker. You saw how important it was to have action advantage on the bot. So I would have sacrificed 1 turn. It would have had a couple of more turns for getting some more resources. It probably would have edged me out had I had those advantages. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But I am actually much more satisfied. Now, I'm going to play with the variants the entire time, but I hope I've given you an impression of how the game works. And if you want to just play rules as written, that option is available for you. This is the One Stop Co-op Shop, and that was Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. We will see you at the next stop.